All right, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching TV47 Breakfast. My name is Annie Odida. Let's now shift gears and talk matters, water and sanitation. We all know that every year the National Treasury, of course, tables a billion shillings budget, and the water, sanitation and irrigation sector is also getting quite a big chunk, or a good chunk, just to say the least. This year, it has received 124.8 billion shillings allocation for the water, sanitation and irrigation sector. But the question now that we are asking this morning is that amount able to tackle the losses that are incurred in that particular sector? Basically, the question you're asking, can that 2026-2027 budget plug the leaks in the water industry, or the water sector, the irrigation sector, the sanitation sector? So basically, this is the broader look that we want to have when you're talking about water. With Anthony Jaramba will be joining us later on. Anthony is the CEO of Water and Sanitation Service Providers. But we're going to start with Thomas Odongo. He's the CEO, Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company, the famous Kiwasco. So if you've ever heard of Kiwasco, the CEO is here this morning with us. Karibu sana, Thomas.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Karibu to TV47 Breakfast. How is Kisumu City?
Kisumu City is fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was there yesterday.
Oh, you were there yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Talk to us about the state of water in Kisumu specifically.
Yeah, the state of water in Kisumu, I want to say that our coverage is about 93%. So we still have about 7% to go. We are able to supply water 24/7 in the areas that we serve. Of course, there are areas that are underserved, so these areas don't receive water 24/7, but they do receive sufficient water intermittently. And then the 7% is the area that we are yet to cover. But in our current strategic plan, we believe that by 2028 we should be over 96% coverage. Yeah. So generally, in terms of quality, the quality of water is very good in Kisumu City. You can take water from the tap. You don't need to buy bottled water because our drinking water quality meets the regulatory standards. Of course, we still have challenges of water losses, the topic of today's discussion. In Kisumu currently we are losing about 31%. The national water loss percentage is 48%.
Right.
Yeah, but we are working towards reaching the sector benchmark, which is 25% in the next few years. Yep.
So when you're talking about 31% loss in Kisumu, the national loss is at 48%. Yes. You are almost getting to the national number when you're talking about percentage of loss. Yes. Then are you the highest county from just how you engage with different stakeholders? Because 31% is really a bigger number for a county that is doing quite well. When we're looking at waters, the catchment areas in Kisumu is quite good. Yeah. So are you the highest county, and what are you doing really to try and not get too closer to the 48% national number?
We have quite a number of programs. As I said, I mean, this is one of our major challenges, and we've been reducing it progressively over the years. 2 years ago, we were at 37%. Currently, we are averaging 31%, and I believe that by the end of the financial year, which is in a week's time, when we do our average, we should be below 30. Yeah, so we work with partners. We work with the national government, the county government, to reduce non-revenue water. What we are doing currently is replacing the old and dilapidated pipes, which is one of the major causes, through a program that is called Lake Victoria Water and Sanitation Program, being implemented by the Waterworks Development Agency. So it has a component of infrastructure, It also has a component specific to non-revenue water in terms of technology, digitization, and bringing in equipment that help reduce non-revenue water. The reason we are doing that is that once you are below 35%, then now you start looking at leveraging on technology. So we've got quite a number of equipment. So that is to solve the technical losses, the leakages, the bursts. But you also have the apparent losses or the commercial losses, the meter under registration, the water theft. And we also have quite a number of programs to reduce the apparent losses. We've recently conducted a customer identification survey, which has been very successful because we are now able to locate all our customers. That has been a challenge. And through that, we're also able to identify the people who are stealing water. We're also able to locate the meters that are under registering, and we are progressively replacing those meters. In terms of technology, we have piloted smart meters in one of the DMAs, and the success has been awesome. So we are looking at upscaling that. In addition to that, we also do a lot of capacity building for our team so that we give them the managerial and technical skills to manage non-revenue water. The other thing, and I really want to appreciate our county government, is we are strengthening governance. You know, non-revenue water is also a governance issue, and in Kisumu we've really worked hard to strengthen governance, and we are seeing the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you've mentioned non-revenue water a couple of times, you know, when you're talking to us about what you're trying to do as Kisumu City to reduce, you know, the 31% losses that you're currently incurring. Then what is non-revenue water to somebody who is interacting with that statement for the first time? Yes.
Non-revenue water is water that is produced and not billed. Yeah, so when we talk of a national average of 48%, that means in Kenya, whatever we produce, we don't bill 48%. And it's a huge loss. Actually, the figure is around 14.5 billion loss every month, which is quite significant. So that is what we mean by non-revenue water. So this is water you lose through leakages, through bursts, through water thefts, unbilled consumption, meters that are not functioning, they are under registering, etc.
You mentioned something about, and I want to take you back, that you know, the areas that you are serving, some get enough water, and there are some areas that don't get quite enough, the underserved, you know, areas. Then why are some areas getting enough, what you consider is enough, and then there are some areas which you call underserved areas which are getting, you know, so small?
We're trying to catch up with the rapid population growth. We're trying to catch up with rural-urban migration. As I said, the systems in Kisumu were developed many years ago, actually in the 1940s. In engineering, water systems are developed for 20 years. Then after 20 years, you need to upgrade. So the areas that are underserved were once served. But because of population growth, development, and rural-urban migration, then now we find ourselves in a situation where we are now not able to serve it fully. So we have to look for money to upgrade the systems. So if a pipe was 2-inch, then you realize now the 2-inch cannot serve the area. So we need to change it to 4-inch, and that needs resources. But we are progressively doing that so that the underserved areas are also served, and then we move also to the served areas, to the unserved areas. So, but we are doing that simultaneously. We have programs that are looking at the underserved areas, the augmentation, and we also have programs that are looking at the areas that we don't serve completely, that are unserved. So that's why our coverage, I've said, is at 93%. 93%.
Yeah. What are these programs?
I mean, it's expansion programs and augmentation. Yeah, looking at an area, and we do, the engineers do their study, and they recommend the pipe size. Yeah, and again, when you do this, we are doing it for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after 20 years, again, you need to upgrade. Yeah.
I'd love to know what these underserved communities are, areas in Kisumu, because I come from Kisumu.
You come from Kisumu.
What are these regions that are underserved when you're talking about water supply in Kisumu County?
Yes. Nairobi Road is one of them. If you take from Nyalenda, Nyamasaria, Molem, all that area. If you remember, 10 years ago, that area was sparsely populated.
Yeah.
Today it's densely populated, and that is why we have challenges. And we are saying that it is underserved. But we've had two programs that I believe by the end of the next financial year will have solved that problem. One of them is the Lake Victoria Water and Sanitation Program, that we are doing some work there. The other one is through the Water Fund. We have a project called the Aid on Delivery that we are currently implementing, just focusing on that area. The other areas that are underserved is Past Airport. Past Airport, again, is an area that we are not serving 24/7 because of the same reasons. Then the other areas, the Riat Hills, the new Milimani of Kisumu. It's rapidly developing, and in that area we're also not serving 100%, but we are currently rationing. We're able to give them water 3 days a week. Yeah, so it's a program that we stick to, and we also urge our customers in areas that are underserved that you need to have at least some storage, so that you don't get interruptions in terms of water supply.
Yeah. So when we're talking about the National Treasury releasing money for this sector, the water sector, I'm now wondering how much of that trickles down to utilities like yours, to be able to replace these pipes. Yes,
there is a percentage that trickles down to utilities, and the institutional framework is that this money goes through the waterworks development agencies, which has program for all counties, or in areas that they serve. And the programs could be pipe extensions, the program could be pipe replacements, the program could be increasing storage. So yes, it does trickle down, but as I've said, it is not enough. It is not enough, and that is why we have the national government has to work with development partners to supplement that. The county also has to plug in. Remember, in the water sector, the national government is responsible for infrastructure development. The county government is also responsible for infrastructure development. And then as water utilities, our role is distribution. But because of the funding gap, as utilities, whenever we have some surplus, then that surplus is plowed back for pipe replacements and to extend networks to areas that are underserved and unserved.
This 48% national loss, is it reflecting directly on the streets of Kisumu, and how so? I know you say that Kisumu you're incurring a 31% loss, but if you're looking at it nationally, the 48%, how is it looking like on the streets of Kisumu? Is it perhaps hindering how you would maybe want to, fasten water supply in all the areas of Kisumu County?
Yes, it does. It does. The 14.5 billion loss represented by the 48%, if that money can be plowed back, if the utilities can get that money, then service provision would be at another level. And I like your question. How does that reflect on the streets of Kisumu? when water loss is high, when non-revenue water is high, then the cost that the consumers pay, the bills that they get, inevitably will be high. But if you reduce non-revenue water, if you reduce water losses, then we'll be able to bring the cost of water down, and that is what the consumers should expect. The other thing is, of course, efficiency. When you have some money that you're not losing through the water losses, then you're able to digitize, you are able to adopt and invest in modern technology. You are able to motivate your staff so that they're able to serve the customers well, and the customers will be happy. Yep.
All right, let's now welcome in Anthony Njorambe. Anthony, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Ni jam ama ni nini?
Jam.
All right,
Ni mgeni huku Nairobi.
we can tell. Anthony is a CEO, Water Services Providers Association of Kenya, that is WASPA. Karibu sana. What is the primary mandate of WASPA?
WASPA is the umbrella body for all the water companies in this country. And we also have membership from other associate members, stakeholders who are part of the sector, the wash sector, water and sanitation, and hygiene. So yeah, that's the umbrella body. So we all come together, led by our chairman, Mr. Thomas Odongo, who is also the MD Kisumu Water. And then we have an executive board, comprises also other MDs from other water companies. And then we have the general membership. So any water company you know in this country is a member of WASPA.
All right, including Thomas?
Yes, he's our chairman.
How many utilities are under WASPA?
Currently we have 95, and then we have 2 more that are coming on board after they're licensed by WASREP, who is the regulator for the sector.
Yeah. Anthony, do you think our priorities are misplaced here when we're looking at especially this year's allocation to the water, sanitation and irrigation sector? We are looking at 124.8 billion shillings allocation to that sector. But the major part of, for the better part of it, that allocation looks at new projects rather than improving, you know, the old pipes that have been there. So perhaps do you think our priorities are misplaced, that we're not looking at, you know, renovating what is existing, but we're looking at coming up with new projects?
No. First of all, we have to thank the government. They have improved from, we had almost around 60-70 billion last year. They almost doubled to 124. So we have to thank them. Is it enough? No, it's not enough. But just like a household budget, it's never enough. But we can always look for ways of maximizing on what we have. What will probably rally them is to show them what we are able to do. 3 years ago, with the help of development partners like World Bank, etc., we were able to come up with a BQ for what this country needs to sort out its water. So that by 2063, everyone will have universal water. And that is 1 trillion. It was 995 billion. So that we have to achieve it by the year 2030, which is 4 years to come. So what we've been saying is that this is our document. We are probably one of the few sectors in this country that has done a BQ, an analysis, and an NAWASIP, and it's called NAWASIP, National Water Investment and Strategic Plan. So with that, getting a 124 means that if they can up it next year to 300, and the year after the same, by 2026, 2027, if it can continue like that, by 2030, we'll probably be almost near there. So yes, it's not misplaced. It's a journey that has started, and I think we can achieve it by 2030.
Thomas, what do you think? The same question. Do you think perhaps these priorities are misplaced, that we are looking at new projects rather than rehabilitating these leaking grids?
We have to do both. Yes, both rehabilitation and new projects. If you concentrate on rehabilitation only, then what happens to the people who are not currently getting water? So these two go hand in hand. And that is why the increase in budgetary allocation for water and irrigation is much welcome. And we hope that water becomes a key agenda for the government going forward, so that every year we see a significant increased allocation, budgetary allocation. As I've said, every year we have new challenges. Every year there are new areas coming up that needs water and sanitation services. I mean, the affordable housing, I mean, it's also significant. I mean, and those houses, of course, need water and sanitation. And we are happy that the government normally engages utility in areas where they are putting up the affordable housing, so that we plan for the future. We're also seeing an improvement in terms of being futuristic. So that we look at the future, we look at new areas that are coming up, and we provide the infrastructure before the people come, so that when the people come, like in Riat area, you buy a piece of land, but you find that there's already water and sewer network in the area, so yours is just to plug in.
Anthony, are we losing this war nationally? Because I'm looking at it, the financial year 2024-2025, we were at a national loss of 44%. And then 2025-2026, now we are talking about a national loss of 48%. Yet, there appears to be growing revenues. The sector's financial turnover has grown to 32.8 billion shillings. And we keep talking about water losses. Then really, where are the gaps? Why are we losing this war?
It's not a silver bullet or one point fix. The war against non-revenue water losses is something that is it's supposed to be very integrated, very consolidated. And that's why we must start having these conversations at the highest level possible. And from next week, after we received the report last week, next week we have a major conference that is in Naivasha from 30th of June to 3rd of July. And that's a platform we are providing for such a question that you have asked to be asked to all of us, all the stakeholders, plus government, plus non-state players and state players, and for us to come up with what are the foundations that we can lay for the losses to be converted into revenue. And it is possible. Other people have done it. There are countries that were worse than us, and they put in place measures, and today they are doing very well. Countries like Singapore are doing very well. Countries like Malaysia, countries like Netherlands, Japan, those are countries that were previously in a probably worse situation than we are in. So it's a war that can be won, and it is possible for us to move from 48 and come down to probably the global acceptable 20-25%.
Right, because I'm looking at WASDEM's report last Friday. They're also targeting a drop to 20%. But what can be done to be able to achieve that drop, Thomas? From 48 all the way to 20%. Is that something that is possible, say, in the next 5 years? Should we be hopeful that that could be done?
To 20% in the next 5 years would be too ambitious. To reduce non-revenue water by even 1% needs a considerable investment. You're talking about pipe replacements, dilapidated pipes, which we still have. So these pipes, and most of them are GI pipes, and therefore they are corroded and they are leaking underground. There you can't see. We need to invest in technology. We are looking at smart meters, which are very costly. We are looking at leak detection. We are looking at using satellite, using drones to detect leakages, so that they are repaired on time. We are looking at new technology, the new kind of pipes. We are moving from PVC pipes to HDPE pipes. So it needs considerable improvement. And of course, yes, it's achievable, but not within 5 years. The increase from 44 to 48% is regrettable. As utilities, we had anticipated a reduction from 44% to probably 42, 41% there. So it came as a surprise. But what you mentioned about the increase in volumes produced, which was significant, but the increase in consumption did not match that that increase. Yeah. So that is where we went wrong. We produced more water, but that water that we produced was not consumed. Yeah. So that's why we shot from 44 to 48%, which is significant. Just as the CEO has said, we are retreating next week in Naivasha to discuss that report in detail and come up with the strategies to ensure that the next report we will not have such a scenario. Yeah. So, but we also urge the regulator to be releasing the report in time because this financial year is also ended. So I don't know whether we'll be discussing the figure for this financial year or for the last financial year.
That is WASTEB.
Yes. Yeah. So I think if we get the report within the first quarter after the end of the financial year, then it gives us time for us to come up with strategies and actually improve on the next report. Yeah.
The one they released last week is too late?
2024, 2025, 2025, 2026 is ending next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And we'll be coming to to the conference later on as we continue with this conversation. But you talked about you were producing more, but this water wasn't being consumed. So this water that is not being consumed, what happens to it? Where does it go? Does it is it stored there, or what happens to it?
Not stored. Probably those are the probably we had that increase in bursts and leakages, meters that were not functioning, meter theft, etc. But we are going to analyze that. One thing that I'm sure that we need to also manage is production. If we produce water, it should be demand driven. And as utilities, we now collect a lot of data. As WASPA, we have a benchmark program that has over 50 utilities. And non-revenue water is one of the thematic areas. Yeah, so we want to see system input or production. How can it be informed by demand? The data we collect, I should be able to know that for Kisumu City, tomorrow I need to produce 30,000 cubic meters and not 40,000. Yeah, so that is also one area that we need to balance so that we manage non-revenue water. Yeah.
Anthony, what is the physical cost of this loss, to taxpayer, the 48% loss? Because I'm looking at it that if 48% is what is being produced, is what is being lost, yeah? 48% of what is produced is lost. That means that nearly half of the government's budgetary input into water treatment chemicals and pumping electricity, that means it goes down the drain. Then what is the physical cost of this loss to the taxpayer?
So far, the amount that has been quantified is 14 point something billion, almost 15 billion, 14.8 thereabout. But I think we need to look at NRW more than just the cost of the 14 billion that we've been able to quantify. Because you also need to look at that child who could not go to school, probably because that water coverage was affected by non-revenue, and because they drank bad water, that mama who could not go probably to do something else, she had to go to the river or somewhere else to look for water. Or queue up in a water kiosk to get water. You need to look at the time wasted for you just to get the water to where it's supposed to be, or to increase our coverage, which we are happy. We have increased to around 76% now, by around another 5%. And if we continue like that, we are going to cover the entire country. But quantifying that in terms of cost directly is what I've told you, 14 point something. But there is also indirect cost that comes with the rest of the population suffering because of sicknesses, having drunk water that is not treated, water that is not potable, etc., etc. So it comes up with other indirect costs that probably are not measurable immediately, but can be measured within a lot of time. And that is why we keep saying that everyone should rally behind supporting the water sector, because water is life. Everyone needs water. The manufacturers need water to produce their products. The health sector needs water for their hospitals, for schools. The environment needs water for us to grow more trees and increase our tree cover to 15 billion as is our target. So water is very important. So if we could increase our percentage in terms of what we are putting into the water sector, it is not a loss, it is actually a gain. And I would like you to look at vis-a-vis the public health sector. In most countries where they have increased their quota proportionate to public health, there is a relation to it, that a lot of people who probably were sick because of taking water that is not pre-treated, they probably get more, much better service. And that means that you'll be able to go to work, or be able to go to work, and someone else will go to work and not go to hospital first before you go to work. And so that time is saved, and our economy is able to have very healthy people.
All right, and Thomas, you mentioned something about, you know, for Kisumu, you know, it meets the water standards, yeah, that, you know, you can consume water straight from the tap. I wonder if that is, you would say that is the situation across the board, you know, when you come to Nairobi, when you go to Nakuru, when we go to all these other counties, is that standard met across the board?
Largely, yes. The report that was released last week, drinking water quality we've significantly improved to 96%. Of course, now our target is 100%. Yeah, so for Kisumu, we've met the target of 100%, and quite a number of utilities. And you see, at 96% across board, it shows that there is significant improvement in terms of the quality of potable water in the country. And I think that was a very positive report, and I'm very happy for Kenya, that in terms of drinking water quality, we are really up there. Yeah, so and that's significant because we are looking at increasing the disposable income of our people. Just as the CEO said, people will not be going to hospital because you have quality water. So whatever you spend on healthcare, you can now spend on education. You can now spend on improved nutrition. Yeah, so it's something that as an association, we are going to still urge our members, employ our members, capacity build them through our capacity building programs to ensure that the drinking water quality standards are met.
So if Kisumu is at 100% and we're looking at other counties across the country are at 92%, which is something quite commendable, then what can everyone do, you know, collaboratively to be able to tap into what Kisumu County is doing to also get into this 100%?
Benchmarking, capacity building of the technical staff, the quality staff. Of course, adhering to the regulators' testing regime. We are supposed to test our water at the end point and at the treatment plant X number of times as required by the regulator and report back. So that means that there's monitoring and evaluation, and of course equipping our labs with the right equipment. That is also key. The right reagents. That is also key. And of course, looking at our suppliers, the quality of equipment they give us. I think we work closely with KEBS so that we get quality equipment, quality reagents, and we will all be there.
Anthony, perhaps do you think there's something holding us back as a nation? Let's not talk about Kisumu, because, you know, then there are A+. So when you're looking at other counties, you know, these other regions which are just at 92% still, do you think there's something that is holding us back? And should we be scared or worried of, you know, that percentage dropping?
No, I don't think we should be worried. We should be happy that in comparison where we have come from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where we are now, it's not the same we have made a lot of improvement in leaps and bounds. However, we should not be complacent. We should not be complacent. The ones that are 92, previously they were probably at 80 or 81. So generally, as a country, Kenyans should be happy that the quality of water has really improved, which is a big plus to the WSPs. That means they put in a lot of effort to make sure that the quality of water that we are giving to our people is good. And I'll challenge you. If you go to the people who sell water on the streets, majority of them are selling tap water, and you will easily drink it because it's bottled. But if we are giving you over 90% of good quality water, and our standards are up there with what is called WHO standards, then we are doing a good job. Can we maintain it? Yes. Can we do better? Yes.
And I'm now starting to think, if we're talking about 92%, then 8%, what is this percentage? Is it dirt? Is it harmful chemicals? I know it's small, but what is it? Yes, anyone can take that. I don't know who is well versed with that.
Let Chairman take it first.
Yeah, I'll take it. You know, water gets contaminated along the pipelines. When we repair leakages and bursts, I think that is another cause. The other one is too much handling of that water at the kiosk level. Some of the water vendors, and you'd see the kind of equipment they use, they are not that clean. So that affects, it does affect the quality. So in most cases, if you test the water at the treatment plant, you'll find that it's a very good quality. But at the end point, then the dynamics changes, especially when there's handling. When now you want to buy water from a kiosk, when you want to buy water from a water vendor. So it's something that we're also working on to significantly reduce water handling at too much handling of water at the end point. Even in low-income areas, we are actually encouraging household connections, not water kiosks and communal water points. Of course, they play a role in terms of access, but progressively we want to reduce that. But most importantly, water security and water quality is a big problem. The quality of water that we abstract. If you abstract from the river, then we have issues of turbidity. Yeah, and this is caused by farming, human activities upstream. So when it rains, all those chemicals, whatever, find themselves into the river, and they flow to abstraction points. And the turbidity changes quite rapidly. And at times at the lab, we are not able to cope up with that. You know, you could be abstracting here, but it's raining like 20 kilometers away. You don't know it's raining. Then all of a sudden, when that water overflow reaches your abstraction point, then the quality of that water has really changed. So that's one big challenge. So pollution. For the lake water as well, another big problem. The rivers that flow into the lake pass through the low-income areas, so they are also heavily polluted. At the moment in Kisumu, because you also abstract from the lake, the quality of the lake water, raw water, has really deteriorated, and we have been forced to change the treatment regime. At some point, you're even forced to stop production so that you figure out how do we treat this water. So those are the challenges. Yeah, but of course we are coming up with ways to mitigate against that. For the lake water, you have to use a compressor, inject some oxygen into it, increase the amount of chemicals you use so that you maintain those standards. For river water, at times you have to wait for the turbidity to change. Yeah. in some utilities. Like for us in River Kibos, we have a telemetry station. So it's an early warning system. We are able to know that the turbidity of water has changed before it reaches our abstraction point. And therefore, we prepare for it. Yeah.
All right. So, Anthony, does this year's budget, the 2026-27 budget, maybe provide any sort of funding that would deal with the cartels who are, doing something to these pipes? They are contributing to, leakages. Is that budget offering funding for that?
Yeah, part of the budget, yes, because as you, probably not enough, but yes.
From 124.8 billion?
Yeah, it's not enough. We need 1 trillion. So 124 is probably 1%, 10%, 10-12% of what we need. But what the budget has done is also to recognize the water police, and the water police are playing a very critical role in making sure that such cases are dealt with immediately. We probably want them to be given more power, more enforcement, and basically more power in law, which we think is something that can be done as we move forward. However, it's a good beginning. Just like we have Kenya Wildlife handling the wildlife matters, we have the Kenya Forestry handling the forest matters, tourism police handling tourism matters. Now with the water police, we are a step ahead of where we were before in achieving some form of enforcement, security and enforcement for our water sector. So is it enough? No, it's not enough. But we don't want to complain too much too, because sometimes we can be a country of complaining, always saying this is not enough, this is not enough. But what can we do with what you have? Just like in the Bible, Moses was asked, what do you have? He said he has a stick. And the stick turned out to be something more profitable than probably he could have thought. So it's the same thing even for us. We are saying, we have this. We can make hay where the sun shines with what we have. But as the budget continues, we will ask, as the budget cycle continues, we'll ask even in supplementary budgets to be given more, even the future budgets to be given more. And then you'll be able to see a reduction in most of these negatives and start seeing more positives.
But is the allocation that you're getting, Thomas, being used for what it's supposed to be used for? Because I'm thinking about it, if you want more, then what you're given, are you able to show something that is justifiable, that will then now, make the national government say that, we give this sector 124.8 billion shillings. They're doing this with it. It's not enough, so let's add them this amount.
I'd say to a large extent, yes. And broadly speaking, the last impact report, Impact 18, there's significant improvement in terms of water service provision in the country. The devil in the room, of course, is non-revenue water, which we have discussed. So that's an indicator that whatever resources that we get, we are putting it into good use. And we are saying, yes, it's not enough, but whatever we get from the national government allocation and even county government, I believe we are putting into good use. That's why we've seen improvement in most of the KPIs, except revenue water, which is a big problem.
That is the elephant in the room.
Yes, yeah. So we appreciate the introduction of the water police. I think that was a masterstroke. Again, we will request the government to increase allocation for the water police. We need more numbers. Currently, one unit serves like 5 or 6 counties. Yeah, so they are overstretched, if you ask me. So with time, we need to have probably a unit serving a county or a unit serving 2 utilities. And that will be very, very effective. Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about the conference that you talked about, Anthony. What conversations are you looking forward to having on that conference?
I think largely we are looking at solutions more than just identifying the challenges, because the challenges have been identified. For the last 20 years, NNRW has been ranging between 40 something and thereabout, just on the borders of 40 plus. And we are saying we've had enough of that. So can we now move forward? So what are we saying moving forward to? We're talking about introducing innovative ways of tackling it. We're talking about funding, looking for innovative ways of funding it. Because when we say that our pipe and infrastructures are old, we are saying infrastructure is gone. We need new pipings, HDPE and not probably PVCs. Where are we going to get the money for that? So we're looking at those ways, and we've even made recommendations, and we want this conference now to be even more highly recommended. And I hope the president is going to come, because he's the one we have invited as a chief guest. And we are saying, if, for example, we talk about technology, we bring in a tested case study of technology that has been utilized somewhere, proof of concept, and say this can be done. And we have one of our partners from South Africa, a company called Acumen, has been using satellite-based imaging system, like the way you do an MRI for your body. So they do an MRI for our network, 10 meters from the surface. We also have others, like a young man called Wonder Kid, who is also doing something on similar to what ChatGTP does. You just type and ask the system, what is it that we can be able to do with our NRW? It's able to give you feedback through bots and AI-based systems. We also have very simple other innovations like seals, where you seal your meter from both ends, and that is going to help you in making restraining those who probably have a penchant of stealing or disconnecting and then connecting back and taking free water. So we believe that this conference is going to be a turnaround for most of the WSPs and take us to the next level. But you're also looking at other governance policies that we can be able to amend and change, and say, if we amend the law here, it is easier for us to get donors coming. What about bonds? We have never had a water bond. Tanga, a WSP in Tanzania, has done it. Right now, Tanzania has actually in the process of doing a water bond for all the water companies. And we're saying in Kenya, we never tried it, because only two water bonds have been issued in Africa. One by Cape Water and now by Tanga. And now Tanzania wants to do it as a country, which will be the first in Africa, or probably in the global south. So we are saying a time has come for us to talk towards solutions rather than just identifying challenges, because the challenges we've identified over time. Now it's time for solutions. It's time for us to produce answers and to have a roadmap to where we want to go.
Thomas, as you also respond to conversations that you intend to have on the day of the conference, maybe talk to us about any policies that, as now WASPA in general, you intend to lobby on that conference date.
Yeah, quite a number of policies. Of course, when it comes to issues to do with technology, we need standards. When you talk of smart meters, we need standards to be developed, so that a utility in Muranga does not buy meters that are of different standards that Kisumu has bought. It has to be uniform across board, because we know technology changes rapidly, and we need to caution utilities against that. The other thing that we are going to talk about in that conference, because I've said to reduce non-revenue water, we need money. The levies that we pay, there are multiple levies that we pay. I mean, that's a conversation that we need to have. Can we have part of those levies brought back to the utilities, so that we can fix the challenges that we have? We are also looking at strengthening governance. When you see non-revenue water at 48%, there are also governance issues there, political and economic constraints. And we're bringing on board all levels of government, the national government and the county government. The COG will be heavily involved. So we want to discuss governance issues. What are these political constraints that are holding us back? The economic constraints, the funding gap. We've talked about the the bond. I mean, how do we tap into the pension funds? How do we tap into the capital market to fund some of these activities? We can't rely on donors every other time, and we have a lot of money in pension funds and in the capital market that we can tap into. The other interesting conversation that we are going to have during the conference is what is the role of the private sector in improving service provision in managing non-revenue water. We talk about public-private partnerships. We are not seeing any success in that area when it comes to the water sector. So it's something, it's a conversation that we need to have. Performance-based contract.
Who needs to steer ahead that conversation? Is it WASPA or is it the national government?
Of course, the national government, but as WASPA, we are interested. And as I've said, what is the role of the private sector in helping us reduce water losses in Kenya? And we are looking at PPPs, for example, performance-based contracting. So how do we have policies around that that are favorable for the water sector? Of course, we have the broad whatever PPP arrangement championed by the national government. I think it's under the Treasury. Yeah, but it's not sector specific. We want something that is sector specific. But the big question is, what is the role of the private sector? We want to see the private sector playing a very active role when it comes to water service provision in the country.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us to have this conversation. But there's something I'd be really interested to know as we wind up and as I close up this segment, that if you're looking towards getting new pipes, Anthony, because you mentioned it, then what have previous investments been doing? Yeah. Because if you want new pipes, that means last year there were new pipes, the year before there were new pipes, there were investments. Then what were you doing? What were these other investments doing? The
results of those investments is the water coverage you've had that has increased by 5%. That means for us to have that 5%, water must have been moved from point A to point B. And for water to move from point A to point B, there must have been a pipe that was used. But I also want to add something to what Chairman has said about the conversation.
In 1 minute, please.
The conversation they're talking about. One of the other biggest problem contributor to NRW is high energy costs. We are talking about street lighting, it's 7 shillings per kilowatt hour or thereabout. But for water companies, we pay commercial rates. We pay market rates, the ones that are being paid by everyone else. We need to have a dedicated tariff for water production because water production tariffs are cost recovery. They are not for making money. They're just for producing water to give it to you. We don't make money from producing water. So it's something that the Energy Ministry, IPRA, Kenya Power, KenGen, all those needs to come together. And we need to have a dedicated water tariff. And we've been asking them, just give us 10 shillings. It's good enough for us. All
right. Let's continue this conversation on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube on X. It's TV47 Digital. Our WhatsApp line is also active, 0793 279. We're talking about the water loss. Can the 2026-2027 budget plug the leaks? Tuambie, what do you think about it? I've been having Thomas Odongo, CEO, Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company, the famous Kiwasco. Thank you for making time. And of course, Anthony Njaramba. He is the CEO, Water Services Providers Association of Kenya, WASPA. Thank you for making time as well. That brings us to the end of this segment, but don't go too far because Freddy is coming up next with a conversation on AI. They call it the AI revolution. Your job, your future. And Robert Thuku will be here for that conversation with Freddy. Good morning. My name is Annie Odida. You're watching TV47 Breakfast. Stay right here.